time. Okay, we're live.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this special meeting of the Mahone Bay Town Council. This looks like it might be a relatively short meeting today. If the agenda is approved as presented, we have one item for business, and that is around the first reading of the proposed municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw. As usual, we will begin by acknowledging that we are gathered this morning in Mi'kmaq, the ancestral, present, and future territory of the Mi'kmaq people. We gather with the intent followed by the living peace and friendship treaties, and we do so with respect, cooperation, and in the spirit of coexistence. We'll call the meeting to order. Council, you have an agenda that was emailed out to you. What is your wish?
Move to approve
Councilor
the agenda.
Nell?
Move to approve the agenda, sir.
Thank you.
Second.
Do we have a seconder? Councilor Carver seconds. You've heard the question. All in favor? The motion is carried. Thank you. We'll move right to the first reading of the municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw. I think Ian Watson is going to have some initial points to discuss, but CAO, did you have anything that you wanted to comment on at the outset?
Well, I don't know that Ian was going to make comments at this point. I guess I can just briefly say that, you know, council had received a great deal of public feedback to the original hearing, and the steering team has met and the councilors have come together this morning. So, you know, with that in mind, we have a new amended draft that I think everyone feels is appropriately reflective of the comments received. And at that point, I think it's up to the councilors to jump in with a motion, perhaps.
Is the new amended draft posted on the town's website?
It is currently posted as a part of the meeting package for this morning's meeting. And then it will also be available through the Plan Mahone Bay website, and that the town will make sure to link that as a reference to where you can find the materials in the public hearing advertisement.
Okay, thank you. Ian?
Yeah, and for the reference of those watching, going to look for the documents on the Plan Mahone Bay website, it'll be before the ad goes out in the paper, because we're going to put a little summary of changes together to go with it. So it'll certainly be before the ad goes out in the paper, but it may not be until Monday, realistically.
Thank you. So, Councilor Feeney.
Mayor, I think if you recall at the public meeting, there were several points of interest presented by the Mahone Bay Chamber, as well as citizens at large on a number of topics. The most impactful one is probably a desire for further exemptions around parking, as well as a number of other modifications that have less kind of material impact on the community. I think those perspectives were well considered and discussed in a council meeting in December, and as well as an extended committee meeting that occurred yesterday. I think the general consensus of all the council members that participated in that process and our consultant Ian Watson and staff is that the changes have improved the overall bylaw, and at this point I think it's ready to go to first reading, and then after that it's my understanding that there'll be a further public hearing, and then all of the fine details of the specifics on the various edits will be communicated as well for anybody who wants to have kind of greater understanding of the final odds and ends that were amended. So I'm prepared to, if everyone's okay with that, I'm prepared to make a motion if you'd accept one, and I'd move that council give first reading to and schedule a public hearing regarding the proposed amended land use bylaw, and which is attached to today's council agenda.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor Carver. You've heard the motion on the question.
Wait, before, Mayor, before we go to that, happy to second the motion, but would like to include reference to the municipal planning strategy as well as the land use bylaw in the motion.
Your worship, that's the next motion.
Yeah, I think for clarification, they're usually done as two
Oh, okay,
motions.
thank you.
Yeah, so you're comfortable with that, Councilor Carver? The second motion will address the MPS. Okay, anything else on the question? All in favor? Motion is carried. Councilor Carver, would you like to give us the second motion on the MPS?
Certainly, I move that council give first reading to the proposed municipal planning strategy.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councilor Now seconds. You've heard the motion on the question. Anything? Hearing nothing? All in favor? Motion is carried. So with the first reading, the two motions, the first reading of the MPS and the bylaw, the land use bylaw, what is our next step date, specifically? CAO, do we have a date struck?
Yes, I believe we do. Kelly, can you confirm that? I believe it was the 31st at the Legion?
The 31st at the Legion, yes.
And then we're going
7
to
p.m.
include the weather rain check date as well.
For the first.
The first. So the advertisement will be reflective of that, and hopefully anyone who's interested will be paying attention to the weather. And if the weather is not fit for the 31st, we will announce that and we'll move it to the first. But 31st, 7 p.m. at the Mahone Bay Legion.
Okay. And that will be a chance for public participation and discussion around the new bylaw. And then depending on the outcome of that evening with the public, assuming there are no further changes, then we would go to a second reading.
Yes, thank you for that. We should note that we are intending to schedule a special meeting to follow immediately on the conclusion of the hearing. So once everybody's had a chance to make their comments, council will be in a position to determine whether to give second reading to the bylaw at that time.
And that would be on the 31st of January or the 1st of February, depending on when the revised bylaw is discussed.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly. And
so-
if second reading is given, then that will be advertised as required, and then the bylaw will be in force in early February.
It will be advised that the second reading has occurred. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, there's a mandatory notification. Ian, do you want
Okay.
to speak to that? Just
So-
so.
Yeah, just once council, at what time council gives second reading to the documents, they will get submitted to the province first for sign off against the statements of provincial interest. That's a 30 to 60 day process. And then once that happens, the ads will go out to notify people that they're in force. So it would be sometime March-ish probably.
Okay. So we would encourage the folks at home, the citizens, who may have an interest to participate in the session on the 31st of January, 1st of February. Keep an eye on the newspaper. And I think I would assume, Mr. Hyde, there'd be notices going out on the town's website in addition to advertise these events coming up.
Yeah, certainly on the town's website and also on the town's Facebook.
Okay, good. Anything else?
I believe that's the conclusion of business for
We
this
are
morning.
concluded. Now, we could just do this on the Tuesday and Thursday night meetings. To get them over in 11 minutes would be
Let's
accomplishing something.
bring the average down a lot. If we
Yeah.
average the meeting times.
Indeed. Okay, Then with that, Councilor Feeney, do you have a comment?
No, just have a good weekend.
All right, our agenda is concluded. And we'll say thank you for joining us, certainly council and Ian, the people at Uplands and staff, but also the people at home who are interested enough to see what's going on. And we look forward to opportunities to discuss the issue with them as it unfolds going towards the 31st of January. Our agenda is concluded. The meeting is closed.